parental advisory for strong language and content. Well, that's good because this channel is not made for kids. Hi everyone, this is Amsterdam Comic Geek. In my last video I showed you my comic book haul. I ordered a couple of comics online and I really wanted to show you guys what I bought because I'm always happy when a package arrives. It's like Christmas. This time it was Christmas in August. Even though you have to be your own Santa, it doesn't matter. The funny thing was, in that package, the sales guy, Chris, put a lot of floppies as padding in the package or just for fun. And sometimes he does that because he's a nice guy. And I thought I'll make a separate video, and that's this video, about those extra comics. For instance, he gave me True Believers #1, The Savage She-Hulk. So this is a reprint of the original origin story of the She-Hulk by Stan the Man Lee and John Buscema and Chick Stone on art. And the funny thing is, this is Bruce Banner, and the reason why the She-Hulk exists at all is because there was a television series in the 1970s and 1980s, The Incredible Hulk, with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. And Marvel was afraid that if they would create a female Hulk character in that series, the TV studio, the producers, would own that character. So to make sure that Marvel owned a She-Hulk, they created the She-Hulk. And it was up to Stan to create this character and her origin story. So the only reason we have a She-Hulk basically is because they were afraid somebody else would come up with that idea. Anyway, but later on, She-Hulk became quite a cool character. Maybe not in the beginning so much, although I really loved her from the beginning because I've got all these stories as essentials. But later, when John Byrne took the pencil and the writing duties on himself for She-Hulk, the series really took off. That's the second volume. But this is fun to have in color. This one I haven't unpacked yet, but I just wanted to show you. All new Miracleman Annual #1, and it's by Grant Morrison and Joe Quesada and other people. I don't know, so that's good. I'm a Grant Morrison fan. I really love his writing. So this is cool to have as an extra. I've never read Miracleman. Parental advisory for strong language and content. Well, that's good because this channel is not made for kids. What else have we got? Some free comic book day comics. Archie. I was wondering if you guys have ever seen the Riverdale series and what you think of it. I started watching it a while back, but it's not for me. I think I watched about 2.5 seasons still, but I'm just getting too old for that shit, basically. I'm not a kid anymore. Those teenage shenanigans, and I think the plot lines are pretty unbelievable when it comes to Riverdale. But maybe you're a big fan, and that's great, that's fine. To be honest, I've never read that many Archie comics in my life. Maybe I should get started. Maybe the comics are better than the series. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. And this is Free Comic Book Day X-Men. It's, of course, this is the Jonathan Hickman run. A friend of mine, Jerome, who I talked about before, is reading it. And he likes a lot about it. Not everything, but he likes a lot about it. I started reading House of X and Powers of 10. And just the Wikipedia pages threw me off already, and I stopped reading it. I stopped reading this series. And I see a lot of comments online. Not everybody is that fond of Jonathan Hickman's interpretation of the X-Men. I grew up with Claremont's X-Men. I really love those. Maybe I should give this a second shot. Maybe I shouldn't. I'm not sure yet. But I'll decide that later. There's so much stuff being printed and it's out there already. Even stuff that came out 20 years ago is most of the time worth a read. So I don't mind not being up to date on the X-Men at the moment. But if you are a fan of Hickman's X-Men, let me know in the comment section. I'm curious what you like about it. Another True Believers Fantastic Four, that's great. Currently I think Dan Slott is ruining the Fantastic Four, but in the past we had great writers like Tom DeFalco, and of course John Byrne had an epic run on the Fantastic Four. I really like those stories. I think it all ties into Empire, right? Yeah, the big event, Marvel event I'm not currently reading. Ah, The Thinker. That's great. I did a Dutch video on The Thinker a while back. He was in a Spider-Man comic by Roger Stern and Don Romita Jr. I like how Marvel just appropriates stuff from the real world, like Rodin's The Thinker, and makes them into a villain character. I mean, that's funny, right? That's what these comics, what makes these comics so great. So this is, I don't know which Fantastic Four it originally was. Number 357. There's a great interview at the channel of Comic Book Historians with Tom DeFalco. It's a 3-parter. I really, really liked that interview. And the last one is SOS, Support Our Shops by Aftershock. It's like an anthology comics with these people making a story or drawing a story. Of course, comic book shops are in dire straits in the United States, but also in other places because of the pandemic that's going on. And this is from the publisher Joe Pruitt. I'm not that familiar with Aftershock, but I believe they're a new player in town, right? So basically this is an anthology made for comic shop retailers, which is nice. I'm not sure if you have seen this, and if you have, what did you think about it? And what do you think about such an initiative like this? I'm curious about that. Anthologies are a great way to show different talent, writing talent, and especially different artists. So that's good. So I'm curious to read this as well. So I'm very happy with these little presents, these extra comics that came in the mail. But first, of course, I'm gonna read the stack of comics I bought because I'm very curious about 5 years and the other ones. Anyway, thank you very much for watching again. Please like and subscribe if you like the stuff that I make. If you have any reading suggestions, please leave those in the comment section below. Thanks again. Cheers.